All right, welcome to Friday at the Firm.
Squirrel
moment. He is still talking about college football because of silly shirt.
Because I love college football.
Anyway,
Best
by
time
the
of
way,
year.
This is the real weekend that I think everything's.
Yeah,
Yes.
This
Yes.
should
Actually,
show on
the day
weekend.
that this airs, I should be in Knoxville at the opening game. So not a big game, but it's opening day. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, he didn't wear that 2 weeks in a row. Nor did I wear this shirt, or he didn't wear that shirt.
Now that we talk about
we
it.
do wear it 2 weeks in a row. But.
That's
Sometimes.
true. 2 days in a row, I guess you have to look at it. But anyway, all right. So today's all about larceny. So very cool story. I had heard something about the story, but I actually had forgotten it. And I actually had it mixed up with another situation we were talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That we'll have to get. I almost came up with a name as I'm sitting here talking about. But anyway, I'll get a bottle of that and bring it in because there's a very cool story about it. In fact, there's a book about it. My sister is part of the Women's Bourbon Society here in Louisville. But by the way, if you're a female and you want to get into bourbon, reach out to me. I'll make you get you connected with my sister because the Women's Bourbon Society is really cool. They do these super cool events all over, and it's all about just educating women on bourbon. And you start there are people in there that have been doing this for years and years and years, and then like my sister last year knew nothing about bourbon.
Newbies.
Yeah, and she literally knew nothing about it, never drank it or whatever. But she's learned a lot, so it's kind of cool. It's very educational. So anyway, that's a super plug for the Women's Bourbon Society. All right. So anyway, larceny. Chris, tell the story.
All right, so Larceny is a wheated bourbon. So this is Heaven Hills, or one of their competitors for Maker's Mark and for the Wellers and the other bourbons that are made with wheat instead of rye. So they tend to be a little bit softer palate mouthfeel. What's really cool about Larceny, where they came up with the story, was at the Heaven Hill Distillery years and years ago, we did a show on what bottled in bond means, meaning bottled in bond means that the U.S. Treasury Department is responsible for it being secured. There's a little, label on them. They go usually into a specific warehouse. Well, a guy named John F. Fitzgerald, I believe it was. It's on the bottle.
It is.
He was the Treasury agent down there at the time, and he was not the most honest of Treasury agents. Elliot Nessy was not.
John E.
Thank you. So needless to say, he had the keys to the warehouse, the Rick House, and he was breaking in and stealing the bourbon and either selling it or enjoying it himself or giving it away. And I don't know where that story ends up, but that's where they came up with the name Larceny. This cat, his name's on the bottle, he was committing larceny and doing it with one of our favorite things. So they named the bottle after him. There's even a key on the
bottle.
on the neck of the bottle.
They named
the bourbon. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They named the
yeah.
bourbon after him. That's where the larceny name comes from. And then this particular one is a barrel proof. So
explain what barrel proof means.
all right. So that means that normally when they take the bourbon out, they'll mix it with other barrels so that way they get a consistent flavor, and then they will water it down to get it to a very specific proof. So that's what most bourbons are. Barrel proof bourbons mean that this is the way it came out of the barrel. Now there's a difference between this and full proof. They're similar, it's not the same thing. Barrel proof, this is the way it is. It is usually not filtered, it's not cut. It's not unlikely for you to see little pieces of char in the bottom of a bottle like this, which comes straight out of the barrel. It's much, much stronger. But the reason it's desirable and it's really picking up a lot of momentum is because they have a lot more flavor if you have a palate for them. But they tend to be smoking hot sometimes. This one is 124.4 proof. So this is not the highest one I've seen, but it's getting up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
So, and it has a gorgeous color to it. This is almost
very dark.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah, actually the last 2 weeks have been orange, a bit darker. Sorry, I got orange from the shirt. It kind of blinded me.
I'm blowing him away.
All right. So what's interesting is, and we had a conversation. I mentioned this last week on the show. I was at a friend of mine's house, and we were talking about bourbon. And in fact, his wife is going to work for a bourbon company, and so we were just having a conversation about it. And keep in mind that a barrel depends on how long or a bourbon, depending on how long the barrel stays in the warehouse, it produces more output. So if it's only been in there for 4 years, it produces a certain amount of output. If it's been in there for 12 years, it produces less output,
right?
Because because of the evaporation. So it's also important to know that let's say you take 124 proof bourbon versus, let's say, a 90 proof, what they're doing is they're adding water to it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to cut down the alcohol flavoring because that's the hotness of it. We
Right.
talked about that last week. But also they get more content out of it. So if you take and put a third of water or whatever the number is, you're going to get more output than if it comes out of straight barrel strength. So that's the difference. And why you don't see this all the time is because they can only get 140 bottles or something like that.
Something like
it's
that.
something
yeah.
like that.
Depends on the age, and there is no
Yeah.
age statement on this bottle. I was looking, I didn't see it.
Yeah, but if you add water to it, you may get I don't know what the numbers are, 160 bottles.
Right.
And at $50-some a bottle, that
And that
adds
is
up.
the reason why the barrel proof stuff is always more expensive
Yeah.
than the regular one. I don't remember on this one. I want to say this was $60, $65. The regular Larceny is like 26 or 27, and it's
Yeah.
one of the best bangs for your buck
Yeah.
in the bourbon market. Not when they go barrel proof. It's just going to be a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, just keep that in mind when you're out shopping. If you, and by the way, if you, I know Ms. Producer's going to put this on there, but if you turn this thing sideways and look how dark it is, that's what it looks like. That's what a lot of it looks like when it comes out of these barrels. And then when they water it down, it gets a lot lighter in color. So, kind of keep that in mind too. So when you're looking, you're like, oh my gosh, it's really light because they cut it up quite a bit.
From
but
the
it's-
first smell here, you want to talk about gasoline. This thing's going to be hot.
oh, it's hot.
It's smoking.
Yeah.
Coming in
It'll
hot.
burn your nose hairs.
And it's one of those that if you don't drink bourbon on a regular basis and you take a big old whiff of this, your eyes would water, or
Oh,
you
yeah.
would start sneezing like crazy. So
Yeah.
it's tough. But anyway, go ahead and taste it. What do you guys think? Have you had this? Oh, you've
I
had
have-
it. You
I have had this before.
Yeah, you've had it.
Tell you what, that's pretty good. It's not as hot as what it
Mhm.
smells to me.
I'll
It's
be real
hot.
honest
It's
with
hot.
you.
I'm not saying it's not.
And I was waiting until you all had tried it before I said this. I'm not a fan. And I love weeded bourbons, right? I love I'm not a fan of the entry-level Maker's Mark, but, we've done the cast strength 46 and stuff.
Yeah.
I love those. I love all the Wellers that I've tried. All the weeded stuff I like. I'm not a fan of this because it doesn't punch through the burn. I'm getting mostly burn. That's all up in the sinuses. It's not that Kentucky hug that we all hate.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of it. It just doesn't have enough flavor for me.
I would agree on the flavor, but I'm not getting, or I didn't, at least on the two sips that I just had there. I'm not getting a lot of burn. Like, I got some, but it
Yeah.
wasn't.
It's not bad. No, it's not bad.
Last week when we did the Knob Creek one, I felt significant burn.
And this is actually slightly hotter than that.
Yeah, I don't. But I agree with you on the flavor. I don't get a lot of flavor.
It's a little disappointing because the regular Larceny I do like. It's very good. For the money, it's very good. If it was, $50, I wouldn't care for it.
This is one of those that I'm not typically a wheat guy,
Mhm.
right? Although when we were out in Phoenix, I tried a wheat. What was that one I tried? I'd not had it before. I can't remember, but anyway,
I don't remember.
it was in a weird looking bottle, and I thought, oh well, I'll just try that. But anyway, I tried it, and it was okay. Wasn't the best bourbon I've ever had, but it was something I hadn't had. So this one, after I've cut it, this is tolerable. It's another one of those that I could tolerate, just like I did Knob Creek last week.
Yeah.
I like it a lot better when it's chilled, although there's still a little bit of, there's a lot less flavoring here than with that Knob Creek. And again, I'm not a fan. I wouldn't buy either one of them. I'm glad I've tried it, but
There's more flavoring to me, in my opinion, on this when you put the cube in it.
There is a little bit more. I agree.
Yeah.
isn't that funny? Like I think the Knob Creek had more flavoring to me.
Mhm.
This has less flavoring to me.
I
when
agree.
chill it.
This has less flavor. Well, okay. I think it has more flavor when you put a cube in it, because it waters it down. But this has a lot less flavor than that Knob Creek that we did last week.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I just think it's got more flavor than it was
Yeah.
when it was hot. Like what neat.
And
Yeah, I
Okay.
would agree with what you guys are saying. So neat. I didn't care for it. It was too much burn. It was just a burn all
It was
the way
all
through.
burn is
It was
what I was
all
getting,
burn. Now that it's chilled, I taste some flavoring, but I think it's less flavoring than the Knob Creek. I think
Yeah.
the Knob Creek chilled had more flavor.
yeah,
I think
All
I
right.
said that right. It is
close enough.
All right, it's Friday afternoon. and some guy was like struggling to get out of the car there. Oh no, he's one of the attorneys in our building. He's fine. Actually, I thought he was I guess forgot something in
He's
the car.
probably going to show up here in a minute and.
I know. We tried to ask him if he wanted to come in on the last show,
leaving,
and
so.
he didn't want to. So anyway, I'm sure he has lost up. He actually probably works on Friday afternoons.
Yeah.
No. Just for the record, we only do this on Friday afternoons when we don't have client meetings. It is late in the day,
Right.
and we just do enough to sip it and try it. So we don't drink here and then turn around and drive home. So don't send us any email. We're very responsible. All right. So we want to rate it.
Yeah, let's rate it.
What do you think?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Just 5.
Just
no
5.
explanation.
No, nothing?
No.
For what's it? 124.
124.4,
For
yeah.
124, it doesn't for me have the burn of a 124.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few bourbons I've had that are at 124.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. So it's not as bad. It's better with a cube in it. If I'm gonna drink it, I'm definitely gonna drink it on the rocks, like I drink most of my bourbons. But I'd give it a 5. Again, 5 in the range. I'm not gonna go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy on the weekends or whatnot. But it's not as bad as the one that I had last week. So.
Yeah. I'll go 6. But here's what I will say. I'm with you. I am not going to go out and buy this. I'm glad you
Right.
spent your money on it, and I didn't spend my money on it. But that's the case with a lot of stuff.
That's
like
right. You gotta buy it to try
right.
it.
It's like a boat, right? Your favorite boat's your friend's boat.
Exactly.
And this is the same way. I wouldn't go out and spend the money. However, I will tell you that, a lot of people have different palates for bourbon. So you may try this and absolutely love it.
That's correct.
You may find it's the greatest thing ever. It may be your favorite, and that's fine. You just need to try it. That's again why we do this and why
That's right.
we like trying different bourbons, because I've already said Bullet 10 is my favorite bourbon. I think y'all were like, oh, it's okay, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. Right?
And it's not even it doesn't make my top 25, but there is a bottle of it on my bar at home right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so
because it is good.
Yeah, everybody's flavoring is totally different. The way you drink it's totally different. You could take this and put a little soda in it and it'd be totally fine. You may love it. Oh, I'm just saying.
It just breaks my heart to think about putting soda in.
But how many people say, I love bourbon, and they go up to a bar and order a bourbon and soda, or bourbon and ginger
Bourbon
ale?
and Coke.
Right.
Okay, now bourbon and ginger beer. I do like that.
I
That's
said ginger ale.
Right, not ginger ale, ginger beer, which is, you can get that at Kroger, a 6-pack of it's like $1. That's actually a very good drink. It's called a Kentucky Mule.
Yeah.
If you have never tried it, you should.
Yep.
Good stuff.
It's very good.
All right.
But it's a little pricey to be a mixer.
I'm gonna rate it with that exact thing in mind. I'm only gonna give this a 4. I like it, but this is not as good as the entry level version that's in the $20 price range.
No, I would agree.
This isn't even approaching the best thing that comes out of Heaven Hill. There's an
agree with
Elijah
that.
Craig product that I was thinking about bringing in. I found a little unicorn when we were out at when we were in Phoenix. There's an Elijah Craig product comes out of the same place that just destroys this for a very similar price point. So because of the price, because of what you get, and to me it's just all burn. It's not bad burn. It's just that's all I'm getting out of it. I put a cube in it. It's a little bit more flavor, but this is a disappointing bourbon to me. But you know what? We took this to the bourbon night here, second Thursday of every month. And we put this bottle up against another one, same exact bottle somebody else brought in, but theirs was a 2021 bottling. This is 2022. And we actually liked this one better, and everybody at the table liked both. So back to your point, everybody's palate is different.
And look, Maker's Mark's obviously. Around here, everybody knows that brand, right? Yeah. Why do they make 17 different varieties of Maker's Mark?
Bingo.
It's because everybody has a different palate.
That's right.
There's no way Heaven Hill would have one product and that's it, because that may not appeal to a different set of bourbon drinkers. So that's why they make a lot of different flavoring and different proofs. I don't know. Is that the right word? Proofs? Okay.
Proofs.
Yeah, proofs. Okay.
I think.
I don't know.
We'll have to get a proof.
It's Friday afternoon,
to come in here and check on us.
Well, it's Friday afternoon, so it works.
That was
today.
like the worst dad joke I've ever told.
It is. We're going to ignore that one. Actually, I didn't know it was a joke. It was so bad.
It was. Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the point, right? So even though we rated this low, go check this out. This may be one that you try and like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. I love it. I'm going to add it to my collection. nothing wrong with it. It's got a great story behind it, if nothing
Oh,
else.
the story is super cool, and I'm gonna be real honest. I'm still sitting here sipping on it, and as your palate numbs a little bit, this is tasting better than it did a minute ago.
Yeah.
It really is. I still am not gonna rate it high because of the price and because the cheaper version of it is really good for the money.
Yeah.
But just the regular Larceny is great.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for another week. Make sure you tune in each and every week when we sample bourbon here at Friday at the Firm. Again, this is Larceny. Last week we had, what did we have?
Knob Creek.
Knob Creek Barrel
Barrel Strength. Well, it was a Barrel Select. is
Barrel
what they call
Select.
it.
Yeah, okay, that's it. All right, so make sure you tune in each and every week. Go to our podcast channel. You'll see all the bourbons we do. We also have 2 other things you can check out on our website. Again, go to the podcast and then click on the Money Puzzle. So we do a financially related podcast. Pretty cool. We actually take content from meetings we have during the week that clients bring to us, and we say, hey, what's sort of an interesting topic we've had during the week on client meetings? And that's what we talk about. And so we kind of give the client's perspective on how they view that particular topic, and then we talk about how we view it or how we provide solutions for it. So it's a great podcast. Also check out our weekly TV show. It comes on every Saturday morning on the ABC affiliate here in Louisville, WHAS TV. It comes on 10:30 on Saturday mornings. Make sure you check that out. You can also go to our website, go to podcast, and you'll see all the shows that have aired. So we've got 6 that are coming up that we've already shot. So
Yep.
they're very good. The content's pretty cool. It's all about inflation, taxes, and income planning. So those are the 3 topics we covered during those 6 shows. So anyway, that's it for another week. We got to run because we're all heading out of the office. And we'll see you guys next week.
Football season, baby.
We'll see you guys next week on another edition of Friday at the Firm.